Hello, welcome to Bob's Dungeon. My name's Bob, I'll be your host. The story of Atlantis has been around for quite some time. It has pretty much survived the passage of time, having been around for centuries, and it has provided much fodder for all kinds of other stories, in both books and in movies, where the main characters are either looking for it or the whole story takes place in Atlantis. It also appears in video games, and in board games, and in tabletop role-playing games. And that's what we're going to talk about in this video. We're going to talk about Atlantis, Rift's World Book 2. This book has 160 pages and a copyright of 1993. This is the third publishing of the book, and it was published by Palladium Games. All of the artwork in this book is in black and white. It's really good. So let's go ahead and take a look at that artwork. This is the first picture we see when we open the book. All of the artwork in this book is in black and white. And the artwork is pretty detailed, giving you a good look at the different creatures and monsters that inhabit Atlantis. Some of the artwork might be kind of gruesome for some, but it gives us some really nice Lovecraftian style monsters. And there are some really neat looking mechs and power armors to be found in this book. If you like weird power armor, this is the place to go. To use this book, what you're going to need is a copy of the core rule book for Rifts and a full set of dice. A full set of dice containing a 20-sided die, a 12-sided die, preferably two 10-sided dice for rolling both percentiles and tens, an 8-sided die, a 6-sided die, and a 4-sided die. And of course, a copy of this book. This book gives you all the information you need to know to run a game in a Atlantean setting in Rifts. It gives you a bit of a history of Atlantis. It tells you where Atlantis is located once it returned, and it's pretty much located to the southeast of the United States. Right there, almost on top of the Bermuda Triangle, which is now called the Demon Sea. Part of the Bermuda Triangle actually covers a little bit of the land of Atlantis, and all kinds of strange things happen there. Go figure. But Atlantis itself it gives you maps for it, and it different divisions, talks about different cities, who runs the cities and so forth. And Atlantis is full of interdimensional beings and aliens and just a small amount of humans. All kinds of creatures that you can run into and interact with. But even though it's Atlantis, the Atlanteans don't rule here anymore. There are Atlanteans running around trying to retake their continent, but so far to no avail. Instead, there's a race called the Splagorth, and they're kind of like a Lovecraftian race, and they run things, and the way they run Atlantis can pretty much be looked at as a huge black market. And they also do a lot of slave trading. So if having slavery in your game is offensive to you, you'll probably want to give that part of this book a pass. And because it can be a sensitive subject for some. But at any rate, they run things, and they're kind of an evil race. So you got the Atlanteans running around trying to take their place, and people coming here from all over to buy all kinds of wild and interesting things that they can't find anywhere else. This book provides you with all kinds of neat stuff. There are a bunch of new classes that you can add to your game. The Rifts book itself, the core book, has over 30 classes for you to pick from and play. This book provides you with well over 20 more classes to add to your game. Both OCCs, which are occupational character classes, and RCCs, which are racial character classes. The OCCs that this book provides you with are the Stone Master, the Undead Slayer, the Maxi Man, the T-Man Monster Man, the Tattooed Man, the Atlantean Nomad, and the Sinaj Assassin. Some of the RCCs presented in this book, I'm not going to go over all of them because some of them I can't even pronounce. And there are quite a few of them. You have several different types of Splagorth, such as the Overlord and the Power Lord. You have the Blind Warrior Women. You have the True Atlantean. You have the Katani, which are broken up into Field Mechanic / Scientist, Espionage Agent, and Warrior, and different versions of the Hork race. And a lot more. Like I said, some of them I can't pronounce, but you got well over 20 classes in here that you can add to your game. This book also provides you with new forms of magic to add to your Rifts game, such as tattoo magic, which is pretty neat. You got tattoo symbols on your body that you can cast. It gives a full description in here. You also have biowizardry, which is kind of like cybernetics, only instead of using metal and electronics, it uses different types of parasites that are fused to you and gives you pretty much a lot of the same effects as regular cybernetics. And that's pretty cool. You can have a really horrific character, a character that looks really horrific. So if you're into that, that's pretty cool. This book has a lot of new equipment that you can add to your game, weapons and so forth. It's also got some new power suits and mecha, and some of those look really interesting. Some of them are pretty scary looking too, so that's always a plus. And if you're ever interested in playing a character or using one of the characters from the cover of the Rifts book, all the information for them are in this book because they're from Atlantis. So that's nifty. And that's pretty much all I got to say for Atlantis right now. Which brings me to 3 questions. Would I play a character in this setting? And I'm going to say yes, I would. It's a really neat setting. It's kind of got a real underworld feel to it. And I kind of like games that take place in the underworld. So there's that, the criminal underworld. And would I run this setting? Yes, I would. And yes, I have. I ran it for a little while some years ago. And it went pretty well. The characters were playing just the craziest things. I think my wife was playing a dragon. And I don't remember what the other players were playing. But it was interesting. Would I recommend this book? And I'm going to have to say yes. It provides you with a new location for your Rifts game, and it provides you with a bunch of add-ons for your Rifts game, new classes, new equipment, and so forth. That's one of the neat things about the Rifts books. A lot of them have brand new classes in the books that you can add to your Rifts game, making character options a lot larger. But if slavery is something that really offends you, then you might want to think about it, because it's in there. So anyway, thank you for joining me at a look at this book, and hopefully you'll join me next time where we'll talk about something else. Bye.